Hello, and thank you for joining us. I've got Scott with me today. We're going to be talking a little bit about how we might be able to tweak the proof of concept idea in the world of technology to be more effective. But before I get into the questions that I've got for you, can you give everybody an introduction?
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Scott Ham. I've spent a lot of years in insurance. I won't go back too far, but I was CEO of Transamerica's life insurance operation for a little over 6 years. Spent some time at McKinsey, a global consulting firm. And now I am CEO of Pinpoint Predictive, which is an insurtech, which is helping carriers identify unpriceable risk through use of big data, behavioral economics, and deep learning. It's great to be here.
Great. So, being in the insurtech world, this idea of a proof of concept or proof of value, whatever we're going to kind of name the idea, is a very common interaction that technology companies are having with insurers and even outside of the insurance space. So, to get us started, can you share some of your thoughts on maybe where some of the challenges in this current proof of concept exist in the landscape today?
Sure. And in insurance, there's so much that carriers can be testing. So many great insure techs out there that can help insurers be better. What I see from a proof of concept perspective is it still remains a bit siloed. And what I mean by that is it's being conducted either in one of the labs or within innovation, within data science, or within analytics. And there isn't a lot of inclusiveness of the entire organization. And then I would also say, and it'll sound like I'm being negative, I'm not. These are just ways we could improve and things that we need to improve on, the pain points of the proof of concept. There's also, I think it's a little overburdensome and rigid. And what I mean by that is, a true proof of concept is just that. You're just proving out the hypothesis and what impact it could have on your company. It's not normally in production or using live data. But in order to get a proof of concept going, a lot, not all, of carriers will require some amount of InfoSec review, certainly legal review, and then they want to follow their processes and procedures that have been in place for quite a long period of time. And I understand the learnings they have. But today, many of the insurtechs or vendors that they could be dealing with, they really know how to prove value and do it quickly. And to delay that proof because of your processes or systems that have been in place for a long time, that's really standing in the way of testing and experimenting as much as possible, which is what I think carriers should be doing.
So, to that avenue, now that we've talked about some of those challenges, what suggestions do you have for us to maybe shake up this approach and make it more effective?
Sure. And it's exciting because you see it at some places, but certainly recently it's being inclusive, more of a top down, in any type of quote change management process. I think top down is best because it gives the direction to the company of what's acceptable, what's not, and from a cultural standpoint, then starts to breed better processes, efficiencies, and people become more effective. So from the top down, requiring that proofs of concepts not be done in just one area, even though something may have come in through data science, include the folks in the business area, include somebody from actuarial. I even say include somebody from legal. That way you have all the minds that will have to evaluate the results of the proof of concept all together throughout the process. And I think that one will streamline, but also will help deploy, if you will, after the proof of concept is completed. And then in addition, as I mentioned, Emma, before, I do think that insurtechs or vendors outside of insurance have learned a lot about how to quickly and efficiently and effectively show value to carriers. And I think carriers have to be open to listening to them in terms of how a proof of concept can be conducted and can be conducted in a matter of days as opposed to months, because this will lead again to the more and more proofs or testing that's going on. I think those really what I feel are simple would help the proof of concept process by magnitudes.
So during that response, you uttered a couple of my favorite words, and that's change management. So I want to dive into a little bit of how some of these tactics or kind of the change of approach could help us with this change management aspect as we bring new technology in, but also ultimately help us with the deployment.
Yeah. So one of the things, and I'm certainly not an expert on change management, but in all of my roles, I've at least experienced it. One thing that sometimes stands in the way is not having that top-down approach or the inclusive approach that I talked about prior to this. And that has an impact in a couple ways. One, there is no true company line in how to conduct these things or how changes will be implemented and deployed. But also it will help when departments are looking at a vendor as a threat or doing something they feel they could do themselves. If the culture that's created is one of experimentation to get better and it's inclusive and everyone knows the reasons the company's engaging in a proof, then what you find is people aren't as hesitant to be part of it and don't look at it as a threat to what they do, which unfortunately, we've all been there. When something new comes in, you look at it as, okay, how is it trying to eliminate me? As opposed to, I know the company's exploring a lot of avenues and they're changing things, but they're changing things for the better. And I want to be part of that and moving forward. So I think from my perspective, again, that's really the benefit of the top-down approach.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts on this. Again, from a change management standpoint, one, I think you speak like a good expert from your experience, so don't discount that.
Thank you.
But two, also just being able to think through how even those first couple of steps that maybe seem like they're far beyond, you need to bring the rest of the team in, bringing in your team early and often is going to help you be successful throughout your whole digital transformation. So I think that this is a really good focus for companies to take as they're evaluating new tools to bring in.
Yeah, well said. And one thing I would just add, because you mentioned it earlier on then you move to the deployment side. And on the deployment side, having all of these individuals or functions involved in the proof of concept, you then end your proof of concept. Everyone's already been part of it. The conclusions have met and deployment is faster. The business folks know the pain point they're addressing or the muscle they don't have that they're addressing, and they usually have the budget and they move forward. Finance actuarial then can look at it and approve it because they've been involved. It's not a surprise that comes out of a lab. And I like labs, but it's not a surprise. Everybody's been involved. So from a deployment, it's a much, much quicker deployment if you use the inclusive approach.
And beyond knowing what to expect, hopefully they're excited for the change that's coming their way too. So then you get that excitement and that bubble up coming along with your implementation.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I want to thank you again for having you for joining me for the conversation, and suggest to anybody that isn't already connected with you to make their way over to your LinkedIn and check out Pinpoint as well. But thank you very much for your time today, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you.
If you're looking for expert tips on how to get started with your transformation or looking to hone in on your approach, make sure that you subscribe to our channel to catch our weekly Digital Transformation Talk series, where we interview experts from around the world on how to make it happen.